Swag it out, bro.
Peace out to all my fans and everyone.
I love talk your shit, young. Talk your shit, young.
Alright, so we're going to start with my first piece. The title of my first piece is Feed Me.
Please.
Are we all ready?
Black kid in jacket.
You guys can snap it up. You guys can snap later. Day and night your hunger, thrusting yourself face first into unending thirsts, trusting everyone but yourself to satisfy this hunger, but constantly falling short of satisfaction. I can take this no longer. The only resemblance we bear now is that we are shadows, shadows of what we could be. I mean, look at me. Frustrated because you won't feed me, and look at you, frustrated because you keep feeding all the wrong things. You prepared a table for your enemies, feeding your insecurities and clothing your fears in fine linen. You've become like the lyrics of a cover, so versed in being just short of the original, sealing yourself in a cover. You faked this facade for so long, you now think it's original. Yes. You've now found yourself in fables and folks. You're now fond of foes, Facebook friending them because that's the only place they would ever like you. Are you blind? Or do you just choose not to see that person they like, that's not you? It's this picture-perfect image of you that gets snapped out of their minds as fast as they click. Maybe you'd understand if I speak in your language. You see, I'm done being careful. I'm done watching how I tread. So let's talk like the way you do on Twitter, a thread.
There you go. Guys, stop celebrating like soccer fans.
After all, isn't that what is holding your life together? A thread. You've forgotten that you, a thread, have been needle knitted into the DNA of a creator. It's high time you take opinions off that pedestal. I mean, who told you that this version of you is not good enough? Don't you see that you are a treasure, and a treasure can only be found in a chest? So if you look down in your chest, within your chest beats the essence of the real you. Ayo!
It's a Gucci.
You'd only heal yourself the way you mend a torn soul from the inside out. That hunger you feel in your stomach, that thirst in your throat can only be fed when you feed that emptiness that lies in you. That hunger will only be fed when you realize that you are enough.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Second piece is titled Stalker.
That's it right there.
So most people's journeys end at some bus stop. But that's where this trip starts. I don't know why, but man, I was tripping. Maybe I had tied my shoelace together, but I assure you I was falling. 16-year-old me didn't understand what was going on. It was as though my heart had woven my arteries into a rope, the way it kept skipping beats. I didn't know what it was that I was feeling, but in that moment, I felt like I'd spent my whole life empty, like something that needed feelings. You know those people that say stuff like, there's nothing like love at first sight? They're probably blind. Beauty had gone shopping in clay, putting on a 5-foot frame, and she now sat right in front of me. So trust me, I didn't know what to do. Sincerely, I had no clue. So you know those people that say stuff like, just be you? That's terrible advice. I knew I had to become something new.
Boy!
So I walked up to her and sat. My heart jumping, my eye running wild as butterflies swarmed around my stomach. This chair felt like a bed because on it sat a rose. But I felt like a thorn in this bed because as I sat, wait, I have to do that line again, sorry. This chair felt like a bed because on it sat a rose. And I felt like a thorn in this bed because as I sat, she arose. Then,
Your favorite era.
then the last piece. Everybody leaves. Stop! Stop. Stop! I shouted in silence, swiftly shutting down the seducing songs that my senses sung. She stood outside, stranded, slamming her fist against the door. I simply sat in my seat, sandwiched in the strong arms of this sofa, spirit striving against soul. What I was doing was selfish. Sandra outside my door was nature's articulation of the struggles I had been facing for the past few weeks. Mother Nature, in all of her artistic valor, had decided to paint this night, drawing lines she knew I'd never cross. The sun setting had set this picture in motion. I could not open that door. I just couldn't. Wow, I'm so sorry.
That's it.
I could not open that door. I just couldn't. Opening this door would be indicative of me opening another. One that led to a dark room that housed my heart. I could not. You see, the last person I let in didn't clean out her shoes before coming in. She'd just been ankle deep in a toxic, mud-soaked relationship. The last man she let in her life manhandled her. He treated her the only way he knew, the only way trash can, doing to her what we do to garbage. He dumped her. She'd forgotten to scrape the dirt off her shoes. The emotional mountain of highs I had expected became a valley of an all-time low. She'd walk all over my heart with those same heels, leaving a trail of dirt in every cranny. You see, I was already messed up before she came in. Anna wasn't the first person to leave. They all did. No matter how much room I made for their excesses, it was never enough. I was never enough. So tell me, why should I go through the joy that love brings if the longer, excruciating pain of heartbreak was inevitable? Long before Sandra showed up, I promised myself I'd never open up. So we could sit on the front porch, or we could sit below the stars on the stairs, staring into each other's hearts, but you never get in. And as though my roof wasn't sitting enough, Sandra had found a way to break down my walls. I had begun to smile. Longed to hear her voice if she was gone for a while. My face lit up when we spoke. I was becoming free. I mean, there was even one time I said a joke. The whole cycle had begun, and I knew what to do. I allowed my tongue be a blunt knife and cut these ties. But then I couldn't. It was easier done than said. So I did what any normal person would do. I blocked her on Instagram. And then everywhere. She stopped knocking. I heard footsteps go down and up the stairs again. She knocked again. The silence after spoke more volumes than all the knocks prior. I screamed in response, "I love you." My tongue choked the words out of my throat. I was too dumb to say these deafening words, struggling to get up as I was being suffocated by my own arms, yearning to get up out of this sofa as I saw the last month flash before me. Wakened by this sofa, I tried to get up, but everything was spinning out of control. I was dazed. I screamed one more time, "I love you." This time, the word leapt off my tongue, but was swallowed up by this room vacuum I sat in. And suddenly, my legs quickened, my heart beat fastened, and I loosened the grip of the sofa as I ran to the door, swiftly twisting the knob and pulling back. And I shouted one more time, "I love you." And there was no reply. And then there was, "I love you." As I watched as the echo replied me with my own words, she was gone. And I checked her trail. There was no mud in it. Thank you.
Woo.
There you go.
Bam.
There you go.